Or I also I've been writing in third person where it's like, this week Taylor and Mads talk about.
See, I think that's weird.
You think that's weird?
Yeah, and I changed that when I copy and pasted what you wrote for the podcast into the YouTube, because I wrote the description for the YouTube channel, and I made it all I.
If somebody finds us on the podcast app,
yeah,
they're gonna be like, who the fuck is we?
We, yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
that's why I like that, like Taylor and I.
Yeah, that works for the Instagram and everything. But sure. I'm just thinking of like...
That's true. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, people who don't know us.
Anyways, we're getting off track there a little bit.
Totally. But... Cut that out.
Welcome back to Burning Boat Business. Woo! Up and coming, the new hot, fresh podcast
straight out the oven
that follows the successes and failures of Burning Boat, our company, as well as ourselves. So you may notice that Taylor is now in Copenhagen.
That's right.
How's that going?
It's great. I love it. I think any opinion I have right now.
First of all, how long have you been here?
I've been here, I think 4 days. 3 days, 4 days. Something like that.
Fourth day here.
Fourth day?
You landed on Monday.
Okay. So I've been here for 4 days. I was talking about this to somebody yesterday. I just think you can't form an opinion that quickly on a place, especially, I mean, it's not like I've been hanging out for 4 days exploring the city. It's kind of been, 1 day of you showing me around, and then just 3 days of work, basically.
It's weird, it's quick.
Right.
After the first day, I was like, do we have time to even see the city? I was telling you this the other day.
Yeah.
But then, today, I was like, wow, we've gotten so much done so quickly.
Yeah.
It feels like we're definitely doing what we wanted to do.
On the move.
Getting quick.
And that's kind of what I'm focused on, rather than enjoying the city, per se.
Yeah, so have you done anything on your own other than what we did?
No, I've gone on a couple walks and stuff, which I love. I think also the terrain is very similar to where I used to go vacation as a child. So I think it has a special place for me, like the beach with the wispy grass and just the overall European feel and everything is something that's close to me. So that I really like.
And you were saying that the difference between New York and Copenhagen was, you said that really well when we were having breakfast that one day.
What did I say?
Well, that's what I wanted to have you say.
I don't remember.
It was like the feeling kind of like it's definitely a city, but it's not like loud, or you were saying stuff about it being quiet and still and like there's not things going on everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot less hectic. It just feels, calmer, and again, going back to, maybe that is what we ultimately search for in a place to live, is kind of where we grew up as a child. And I think I grew up in Frankfurt, which is, it's a city, but it's a small city. It's nothing compared to Los Angeles or New York. So I think those two were just a little bit overwhelming for me, and this is kind of scaling back to something that I find a little bit more comfortable, which is like, if you tell me, pick up the drone from this store, it's always like kind of in the area.
It is going to be kind of close, yeah.
Which is nice. It's never a huge, long trek to get anywhere. I mean, I've only been going to your place and like the drone shop, for example, but everything just feels close and connected.
So we wanted to talk about then the thing that we're kind of focusing on now, which is making a promo video for our new website.
Correct.
And using that promo video to get freelance jobs.
Right. Burning Boat 2.0.
So like the third part of our companies, we're doing like a YouTube channel, our own feature films, and then the freelancing.
Correct.
So I think maybe a good place to start is by talking about who the promo video is for. Like, what's the purpose of it? Who are we hoping will see it?
Right. I think the first thing to say is it's completely separate from YouTube, for example. So like just the YouTube video that came out today.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
Right, so it's
that was
like,
the thing I wanted to talk about first. Now I remember.
I don't think it should be in the same vein, because that's quite weird and quite, like, we can push the boundaries on YouTube, and I don't think we necessarily, I don't know if people necessarily want that for their hot air balloon company, you know, us doing
sure
some
not.
crazy effects and whatever. I think they want something a little bit more straightforward, and so maybe the promo video should reflect that, but we should still push it. I mean,
I think we definitely have to like rein it in a little bit.
yeah.
And then create some, I don't like more conventional content that's a little bit like more
Wholesome.
yeah. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
To get to just appeal to people who aren't gonna be wanting crazy stuff.
Right.
Just very basic like video content.
And I think rather than that being a bad thing, it's actually an advantage, because that way we can quickly make these videos for people.
So you were saying that it's easier, or maybe it's a little easier to be
Are we talking about the promo video? Sorry, I was getting a little confused. Or the actual videos we're making for people?
the promo video.
The promo video
But
itself,
that
okay.
is trying to get us jobs with people where we'd then be making
Right.
videos. So,
So it should reflect it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you were saying that it's easier, or at least we can make content quicker if
Yes.
they're reined in a little bit. Do
Yeah.
you think that's true?
Yeah.
Why?
I think, well, I think there is a bit of a formula to this kind of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that pushing the boundaries isn't necessarily going to be a benefit, because then we're kind of setting us up for, well, somebody really likes it or somebody just is like, what the hell is this? Does that make sense?
I personally think that it's sometimes a little harder to make stuff that's simple because it's easy. In the other way of making videos, it's easy to make it interesting by being a bit abstract or a bit kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Where if you can't use those, it really has to be visually very good and story-wise, or at least structurally very good.
Yeah.
Very sound. So
Fair
it's
point,
like
yeah.
not, I don't know. I still think you're right that it is easier.
I think the first one might be difficult, but I think
first
like from
one
the
is
first
a-
to the second, it's going to be like the first video we make. Sorry, I'm talking about the videos.
No, so was I there.
Okay.
But maybe let's explain what, because we did mention it in the first episode, but let's just
Yeah.
remind people of what we're trying to do. We talked about it in the first episode, but we want to be able to make money while we're working on our passion projects and while we're working on creating content for YouTube, which doesn't make us money in the now. That's something we'd be able to see returns on later on.
Exactly.
So working with companies, businesses, individuals who need video content is what we're going to try and make money off of.
Right.
And so we're making a promo video to show that, something we can share out and that
Exactly.
people can see and decide that they want to hire us to do that.
Exactly.
But we're saying that we want to work with people who inspire us in some ways, that it's not just a money-making thing where we're making corporate videos for, I think it's easier to go and do, like 10 wedding videos or film
Right.
like business meetings for bigger companies where you just have 3 angles and you capture it for them and you sell
Exactly.
it to them. That's not, that is what we'll have to do if this doesn't work out.
Right. I think we should be clear that we're not saying we'll never do that.
No.
But we're saying, we have the privilege of having a couple months to really do the kind of work that aligns with our company. And if that ends up not working out for whatever reason, then we have said, well, our backup plan is that, we'll go do wedding videos. We'll go do these kind
We'll
of
do whatever
commercial-
we need to do to be able to keep
I
doing
personally
this.
really don't think it's going to get to that.
No.
I'm convinced it's not going to get to that, but I just want to be clear that, we're not snobs. We're not like, oh, that's below us.
Exactly.
It's just...
It's like if there's a way to not do that,
Right.
that's the way to go. So that's
Exactly.
what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So that's what the video is for. We want to make a promo video that goes front and center on our new website. We're building a new website. Something that's short, under 2 minutes, that quickly conveys that we're freelance filmmakers that can make high quality video content and also show a little bit about who we are and our creative, I don't know what the word is. Our creative, it's not just, I mean, we want to convey a little bit of our personalities in it.
Right, because we do have a style.
I would say that we have very different styles. So first of all, that's a thing maybe to address.
Yes.
Just watching the video that you just released on YouTube, the road trip video, which I love, is so, it feels like it's your style.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's parts where I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's also parts where I would have never thought of doing that.
Right.
So maybe that's something that's interesting to talk about. How is that gonna? I mean, I guess we won't know until we do it. But what's that gonna be like to actually work on a project where it's not one of us leading it, where there's a clear, like, final say.
Right. I think they're gonna blend together nicely. I don't. We'll have to see. I guess what happens with the first videos that come out.
Why do you think they're gonna blend?
Because I've noticed.
Yeah, okay.
I've noticed you tend to like what I do, and I tend to like what you do.
That's always good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think,
don't not like what you do. That's true.
I just don't see it being an issue. I just really don't.
I've never thought of it either. So
I think if anything, adding you to the road trip video, let's say, if you had edited on that, would have only added. I don't see it like taking away anything.
I guess it's the same if I think of a video I've done and if I knew that you were working on it as well.
Right.
Like one of the bigger videos I did,
Going Alone Together?
Yeah, the skiing one, talking about anxiety and depression. I was imagining that had you been there filming as well with me,
right,
it would have just been better as well.
Exactly.
And the same with the edit. I think you would have had ideas that I hadn't thought of. Yeah.
And I think that's the bottom line, because I've definitely worked with people in school and stuff where I don't like what they do, and I've had to work on group projects with them, and then it doesn't work out, obviously. People are very different. Yeah. I think we align on a lot of things, and we're very honest when it comes to, hey, I just don't like that, right? Which is fine.
Has that ever really happened, though? Like, I'm sure there has, but can you think of a moment or a time when one of us has said, like, nah, just, I don't like that, stop, or we need to change that, or...
I think we've laughed about, like, a bad idea.
But like we both agreed on it. Though.
Yeah.
What about something that, like, I suggested where you were like, or vice versa?
I'm sure on my film, I remember when I was on your film and we were, mapping out some of the scenes, I would just kind of blurt out things just because you're trying to, like, mentally vomit everything down onto the page, and then you can kind of decide what's the best, right? And a couple times you'd be like, that's so stupid. But I appreciated that it was right away, that's your opinion, and, like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm trying to help you out. I'm just trying to give you more ideas, right?
I did the exact same thing on your film, which was just to say ideas, because you weren't saying anything, because you were trying to think of what to do.
Exactly.
By saying things, it's almost easier to say,
yes, I like that, or no.
Well, I find it sometimes easier to say, no, I don't like that, and that makes it clear to yourself why. But you have to figure out why you don't like it.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole thing.
It makes you think of, well, that means I know what I want, kind of.
Right. Like you had said before, the whole thing with dreams, when people say, I don't remember my dream, or they're trying to describe it.
Yeah.
You're like, well, were the walls red?
Not were.
Like, no.
You'll say something like, it was a stress dream, wasn't it? Like you'll try and put into their head what the dream was, like making statements.
Right.
And they'll be like, no, it wasn't. Like, it was a fun dream. Like, but are you sure? And then, yeah. And then they'll suddenly remember because you're, like, putting things in
that's interesting.
That aren't true.
That's interesting.
I guess maybe it's the same with ideas.
A little bit, yeah. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be horrible.
No, it won't be. But maybe let's talk about, so we know who the video is for, but maybe it would help to be super specific, to have one kind of, I guess we can call them clients, or a client in mind, someone that we could be, this is our target client, and that we could make it specifically for them, but hopefully that will also get other people interested. But by
focusing in, because I was thinking that for a while, and I think still, we've been talking about things that we think would be cool, which are cool to put in the video, but that might not be necessarily the right thing to do, to think purely from their perspective, like what would they like to see.
So I think we should start with the end in mind and say, well, down the line, in this branch of the company, who are some of the top people we'd like to work for.
So like once we've gotten started and we have a little bit more room to pick and choose,
exactly,
who would we like to work with? And
I would say something like Goal Zero or Patagonia, or something like that.
Outdoor things. I'm on the same page with that.
So I think that's who we should keep in mind from the beginning, even though we're not making videos for them. Although we might make one for Goal Zero, but let's just say
Goal Zero is a company that we have already worked a little bit with. They've sponsored some of our other videos by sending us some gear. They do solar powered rechargeable camera or batteries that you can bring with you when you're out, and you don't have access to an outlet. You can charge your gear out in the field when you're on longer trips or something like that using the sun. So we used one of their products to charge all of our gear for an entire 8-day shoot. And all of our gear, that's like a drone, 3 DSLRs, 4 GoPros, laptops, camera sliders, stabilized gimbals. Like there's a lot of camera gear, and we used their products to charge all of it. So we're a big fan of theirs, and they like what we do as well. So we're hoping to build that relationship a little bit further.
It's sitting right there.
It is sitting.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
It weighs a lot, but they also have smaller products that we now have as well.
Yeah. So I think that's who we should keep in mind.
I think that's a good point.
Think about them when we're making the promo video. Assume that they're going to see it.
And when I asked that question to myself, like, who are we making it for? And I was imagining kind of the same thing, like outdoor brands or people so that it would be fun to make the videos, essentially. I was also then thinking, at the same time, like, how could the video make whoever is about to, so the promo video, how could the promo video make whoever is about to decide whether or not to hire us feel like the video's for them? And I came up with an idea that might be interesting to like end the promo video. This might not make sense now without having talked about what we're thinking of doing for the promo video.
Okay.
So maybe let's just talk about what our ideas are for the promo video as right at this time.
Okay. Can you start it off? I need a bit of a refresher. It's been fully...
Okay, so our company's called Burning Boat. We talked about in the first episode how Burning Boat is the concept of eliminating all possibilities of retreating. So burning your ships so that you have no other option than to take the island to succeed in whatever it is you're now starting.
Right.
And so we talked about what our logo should be in another podcast, and we had the idea of using like a paper boat, but we've now decided to go with something completely different, which fits to this image of burning your boat, something that's quite dramatic, having a logo that is...
And the boat representing your safety net, your way back, your way out of committing to something, rather than the boat representing our company. Yeah. Which we came to realize, because we kept on trying to represent it as both, and we're like, well, why are we burning our company? That doesn't make sense. No, the boat represents, that dramatic idea of like you fully committed to something and you literally have no way back.
And we feel like that is a very strong way to go about doing pretty much everything. Yeah. You have to commit all the way. That doesn't mean you can't succeed without committing all the way and maintaining some things to fall back on, but we feel strongly that the best way to go is to commit 100%.
Yes.
And I think we try and do that as often as we can. Anyways, the logo is now something along the lines of a small, almost like speck in the distance out on the horizon.
Yeah.
And that speck is actually a big boat that's burning, and you know that because there's this huge billowing cloud of smoke that's just spreading out over the sky.
Right.
So that's really what the logo is like this huge thing of smoke. And so we wanted to start the promo video by, I don't know what's the right word.
Right. Swimming, right, from the ocean onto the beach.
Yeah, so it's this abstract beginning. I know we were just
Exactly.
talking about reining it in a little bit, but this is where we're adding some of our own
flavor.
Our flair to the video. So we have this idea that Taylor and I are both literally swimming towards the shore as if we've just jumped ship.
Right.
And that the ship is burning in the background, far out in the distance. So we've been swimming for a while to get to shore. And we emerge from the water onto the beach, being our island, being Copenhagen, being what we want to now, where we want to now start our business and succeed in doing so.
Exactly.
And so it transitions very quickly into us arriving in the city of Copenhagen and beginning to work with different people. And working with different people means filming them in their business, in their environment, in whatever it is that they do. So making promo videos for these people.
Exactly. Showing us using the gear, showing what we're capturing with the gear, showing us interacting with the clients, whatever.
And I think a big part of our promo video is actually how we are able to move around from client to client.
Exactly.
How we're transporting our gear. We've bought it's my birthday coming up soon. And so for my birthday, my parents got me a bicycle. And I haven't had a bicycle in a couple of years. This bicycle is special. It's a bicycle that has a huge, what would you call it? Like a box or a crate?
Trough.
Yeah, on the front of it. Yeah. And this thing is like 1.5 meters by 60 centimeters by 50 centimeters.
It's like a trailer, but it's in the front of the bike.
So what we can do is we can put all of our camera cases and all of our tripods and all of our gear in this bicycle and drive around. So we're very mobile. We can move ourselves around easily.
Right.
And on short notice be places.
Short notice, environmentally friendly.
Yeah. It's great.
Small.
I'm very excited about it. So we're kind of branding ourselves as a moving production company.
Right.
So it's kind of a little bit contradictory because it's like low budget, but it's all this expensive equipment.
It's low budget, but it's high quality. It's high production.
Exactly. So that's kind of what the video is going to show us. It's going to show us emerging from the water onto the beach.
Right.
On our bicycle, with all our gear, arriving in the city, working with different clients. And the different clients we're thinking of working with are all kind of outdoors, adventure type.
That's what we're hoping for.
That's what we're hoping for. Yeah. So we've been in contact with a rock climber who we're going to film climbing on a climbing wall, doing various things. I think he wants to climb like
and he also doesn't he own the climbing gym?
He helped found the climbing gym. He doesn't own it.
Okay.
We want to potentially film with a firefighter.
Potentially with the hot air balloon company.
That do hot air balloon tours and high altitude flights.
Yeah. We had looked into stuff like bungee jumping,
kayaking. There's a kayak. We live right by the beach. So there's a kayaking club there.
Exactly.
And we've sent out all these emails, and we're hearing back from them slowly. And so far, it's good, looking good.
Yeah.
But we're not entirely sure exactly who we're going to work with yet.
Exactly. And that will sort of determine that middle part of the promo video. And I think the main thing to get across too, the main thing we need to prove is that yes, we're going to show up in this bike, right? Yeah. Without a big ooh la la going on around us, but just trust that we'll give you a good product at the end of the day. Trust that these two young guys with their bike are going to make something that has super high production value and, you know, hopefully provides a lot of value to your company as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing we need to prove to them.
And so the idea that I had for a way of ending it would be to then, so we've showed these people who we're working with,
Mm-hmm.
where it's a combination of showing us in action, so us filming,
Right.
so kind of like behind the scenes, but
Right.
then also showing what we're filming, so essentially the product
Yeah.
that we're creating.
Yeah.
So there could be a point where we then pull out of the screen to reveal that we're now editing that stuff. That might be
Yeah.
a nice way to transition into
Yeah.
showing the post-production side of
Yeah.
what we do, which is also huge.
Exactly.
And we have a lot of value to offer there on top of just the filming production value.
Yeah.
But then ending it with something like each of those people, those individuals, standing in front of their business and just looking at the camera. So something like the hot air balloon standing in the field with the hot air balloon, being prepped in the background. And he's
Right.
just like, this is my business.
Right.
This is me. And I've started this. And then the fireman standing in front of his fire truck. And this is him in his environment. And then the rock climber standing in front of the climbing wall.
What if we turn them all around?
So they're looking at their own
Exactly.
That's interesting.
And that way, it's back to the thing when we shot with your brother, where it's when you watch it, you put yourself in that.
Because that's what I was trying to get at.
Right.
Was that the person who is now watching the video,
Exactly.
making a decision whether or not to hire us to do the same thing for them, I'd want them to feel like they
That
could
could
have
be
that
them.
too.
Exactly. So I think by turning them around and maybe even doing that, what we love so much, which is just following someone
Just a
from
very-
behind with the Ronin.
It's great.
And just cutting between them. Because then also we don't end it with like 5 faces. That's like, well, who the hell are those
Yeah,
people?
yeah, that's great. Because you still, the fireman would still be wearing his
Exactly.
outfit. The climber would still be wearing, you'd be able to recognize them.
Right.
I like that.
And then we can
That's
even-
exactly what I wanted to
and
do. Yeah.
the back, 2 of us back at the beach or whatever, all tie it back together to the image of.
Yeah, so then it reminds them. So first you're making them feel like they want, you could have this too. This could be you. And we're the ones who could give it to you.
Right.
So ending it with us.
Right. What if it's even, do you think it would be too long for it to be a reveal? That let's say if we're starting the video, right? I'm picturing it kind of like these up close in the underwater housing, the camera, these shots of like cutting between us, like swimming frantically to the beach, getting to the beach. Do we show the smoking boat or do we hold off so that they're like, wait, why did they just swim to the beach? Why are they like burnt, whatever? And at the very end, it's us looking out into the ocean and it's a boat burning. Or is that too
I don't know.
too much for people to piece together?
That might be, it might be too much because they might, if they're left not understanding the beginning, that thought might be lingering
Right.
throughout and it
Right.
might detract. But I don't know. Maybe that is a cool way of making it feel like,
Or no, maybe it is the smoke at the beginning. At the very end, we're looking out, and the smoke is cleared. So it's like there's not even the remnants of it anymore. It's
right, yeah, because it is a metaphor, obviously. And that has to be very clear. It has to be it has to be over the top in a sense. We don't want it to seem like this
No.
is some kind of real thing that's happening.
no.
I don't know. So the smoke would be cleared to represent that it's completely gone.
It's gone.
There's nothing left of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that fits.
Right.
Because then it's also like,
And there'll
we
be
will
another
have,
boat to burn.
the video will have established that we've started our business.
Right.
And that we're working.
Exactly.
So now we're
and
moved on to the next
end
thing.
of the promo video will be exactly the position we're in that we've just filmed because we'll have done those jobs to shoot the promo video.
Exactly.
So
That's
by the
another
end of,
thing.
It's like a real time almost.
That's another thing I'm very excited about, is that making the promo video means that we have to work with clients.
Exactly.
So that's great.
Yeah.
It's like 2 things in one.
Exactly.
It's not spending an insane amount of time and effort on making a video. It's also working with people and
Right.
building those relationships up from the beginning.
Exactly.
I think it's great.
And so the middle, I think we also don't need to talk about too much about what the structure is because I feel like that's something we'll figure out in the editing room. once we have the footage.
I think you're right.
Is what's the best way to piece it together?
For sure. But I like the idea because something like filming them
That is good
back
to have in mind. Yeah, exactly.
towards the camera, that's something we need to get. And we need to get it for every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Me too.
And then returning back to us, I think that's a great way of doing it. It's just remind everyone that we're the ones who can offer this to you.
Right.
And then, but at the same time, showing that now we have burnt our boat. It's not there anymore.
Right.
We've started this new company.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I think that sounds like a full and maybe even some images of us, you know, maybe you've thought of this, but packing up again after the shoot. So there's this idea of like, we're quick, we're fast, we show up for a day or two, grab everything we need, and then we're gone.
Well, we had an idea at one point that was that we could actually edit there.
Yeah.
So we'd show up, film it, pull out a laptop, have the laptop on top of the crate, just be cutting it together, and then here you go. Kind of like a one-day thing.
Yeah. I think that's a little much.
I think so. And that's why I was talking about being able to pull out of the screen to reveal that we're now editing it. You could do something like, maybe we throw on a color grading thing as you're pulling out. You get like a, you know, those wipes or something that show that now it's being enhanced or something. I don't know, maybe something that's something before you pull out that would show that the stuff is being cut together. That might be kind of... And there's a clever way of doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
In the edit.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, we've talked a lot about this promo video. I think we know what we want to do. Now we just have to actually go out and film it.
Exactly. That's what it's...
Moving along at a good pace, I think.
Yeah.
We already have 2 jobs lined up.
Right.
Ooh, that's a good point to mention. So we were saying that we wanted to appeal to more outdoorsy type things and a little bit more like on the adventure side.
Right.
Not corporate things. But we also had the idea of including someone like the owner of a cafe or something.
Exactly.
To just show that we're not only doing that. It is that we want to make videos for like individuals.
Yeah.
And that
and I think any small business or one person trying to start something aligns with our company, because obviously we can relate to that.
I think so.
So doing that and helping those people grow their community or their business is something that I definitely would like to do too, but I am more interested, or it sounds more fun to me to do outdoor stuff.
Because that's already a passion of ours.
Yeah.
Like rock climbing and
exactly
mountaineering and hiking and stuff like that. Cool. Anything you want to add?
No.
I think a good point to end would be to maybe talk about how we've both kind of said that we're okay putting our own personal projects on hold to an extent, just for the next couple of weeks to really focus on this. How do you feel about that?
I was thinking about it today. If I had all the money in the world, the best thing to do for me right now would be to hire somebody to sync all my footage, for example, so that I could come back and immediately start.
You're talking about your feature film.
Yeah, my feature film,
exactly.
Because it's really a hard thing to balance, where you want to work on it so badly, but it's a very long-term investment, and it's a very risky investment, right? You're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket and saying, well, this feature film's gotta make a return, gotta make some money, otherwise I'm broke, and who knows how long it'll be till I can make another one, which is why I'm willing to, for at least a couple weeks, focus on this and start building an income, because in my head, at some point, we'll be able to balance the two nicely, where we're working on our feature films, that's the priority, but, for half the week or a little less than half, we have these shoots set up, and we make videos which is also good, I think, mentally for me, because I get really depressed when I have to edit for long periods of time. So I love the idea of, I edit for half the week and then I'm out shooting stuff. Especially, that's why I'm so interested in doing this outdoorsy stuff, that we get out of the house, we get out of the city. We're not bogged down editing for, 3 months straight in a dark room. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, yeah, I think it's worth investing, 3-4 weeks into putting all our energy into this, to build this, and not
make sure it gets to
a
point where we can then just get a little bit more perspective. I think.
Exactly.
How much can we actually do?
Exactly.
How much time?
And right now, we just want to be available. That if someone says, "Hey, can you shoot on a Friday?" we're available every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is important to remember that we're only doing this so that we can work on the other things.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that we can't have fun and enjoy doing it and want to do the freelance stuff.
Exactly.
And that's a great way of doing it, and something that would be just silly not to try and make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
And be excited about it.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be clear that the reason why we're doing this is to be able to do the other things.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's be clear on when this promo video is going to be done by and when it's going to be live on our website, our new website, which includes a lot of other things as well.
Right.
We'll probably talk about those in another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Today is just the promo video, but when do we want our new Burning Boat website to go live to kind of, I feel very much like this is launching the business.
Yes.
We launched.
I love the word launch. I just keep using it. Today I launched my...
We just keep using launch for everything.
But it feels like that because there's so many different things that we're doing. And it's a lot of like micro launches and...
But this to me feels like we're launching a huge part of our business.
Right. And it feels to me like I'm part of it
finally,
now, right?
Yeah.
Because before we had launched the website, but it's really only your content. And I was like, it's nice for me. People were calling me, were like, congratulations. And I just felt like a fraud. I was like, it's not really me.
I remember when you said that, and I got really upset when you said that you felt like a fraud. And I was like, why do you feel like a fraud? Like, I feel like you've been such a huge part of it. But I get it because
I feel like I was a huge help. Yeah. But I wasn't initiating. I didn't have that side where I was like, well, this is the stuff I'm doing. Right?
Yeah. That's why it's good that we're launching again.
And that's what the YouTube channel, that's what I wrote today. I was like, this feels like my launch.
Now you're being part of it.
To being part of it, because finally I've made something that is...
It's funny because Phoebe was saying yesterday, like, how do you feel about Taylor's video going on or more so, how do you feel about putting like your video on what's very much my channel up until this point? I think it's starting to become our channel just because of the podcast being on there in the last like 3 videos, or both of us.
Right.
And you are in some of the other videos, but up until that point it was my channel. But now your stuff is on there too.
Exactly.
And it feels good.
And I think it'll still be a transition until it feels like, okay, this is now 2 people's YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that because also, it just benefits everyone. The more I feel like it's mine as well, the more I obviously want to push for it to be successful. What should we end on?
Oh, I wanted to end on saying a release date for our new website, which is our launch date.
Don't we have one?
We do, but we haven't said it.
Okay.
Launch date is July 14th.